Hey guys, I want to briefly explain what you have to do for today's assignment. There's going to be two parts, so let's start by reading the directions for part 1. You have to read through the definition of all 5 principles of design and how they are created by the arrangement of the elements of design. Then you're going to go to the following website at your Arts and Culture with Google. Click on any of the categories to look at artwork which interests you the most. Then, find 2 examples of artworks that show each principle of design. Copy and paste 2 different artworks for all 5 principles of design. So by the time you complete this, you should have 10 different artworks throughout this entire assignment. The second part of this activity is that on 3 out of the 10 artworks, you're only choosing 3, you have to explain which elements of design are being used in the work, and how those elements are being arranged to show a specific principle of design. I want you to write specifically and in complete sentences. So I did symmetrical balance to give you an example of what you're going to have to do. Symmetrical balance says that it is seen and created when the artist has the elements of design be identical or very similar on either side of the composition. So I went to Arts and Culture, I clicked on a category of pictures, which I'll show you in a second, and I found these 2 artworks that show symmetrical balance. I decided to talk about the painting on the right, and so this is what I expect your 3 explanations to look like. So let's read what I wrote. In the artwork on the right, the artist is using form because the person's body is 3-dimensional. Bright colors, vertical lines created by the dripping paint, and then horizontal and vertical lines seen on the person's shirt. Notice I'm not just stating the elements of design, form, line, and color. I'm stating them, but also stating how I'm specifically seeing them. So I'm going to expect you to do the same. Then I'm explaining how the elements are being arranged to show the specific principle in my last sentence. So I wrote, symmetrical balance is achieved because the same amount of elements described above is seen on either side of the composition. So if we refer back to the symmetrical balance definition, it says at the end, the elements of design are identical or very similar. Now granted, in the image on the right, the colors are not the same. However, the shape that the colors create is very similar to one another. So because there's an even balance of elements, that's why this is symmetrical. You'll notice that there's symmetrical balance that you have to find 2 images for, asymmetrical balance, movement, repetition, and then unity and harmony last. So this will result in you having to find 10 different images, 2 for each one to fully complete this assignment. And then like I said, you have to write this little explanation 3 times on 3 of any artworks you want to do. When you go to the not Erie, I keep calling it Erie, but the Google Arts and Culture page, this is what that page is initially going to look like. I decided to choose this art movement option here right in the beginning, but I mean, you can click over and click whatever you want. But if I go to art movements, you can scroll through and find one that kind of strikes your fancy. I decided to do contemporary art, and this is where I found my images. You can search through these little icons here and click the images that you like. So here's one of the images that I chose. This is a really fun way to look at some really different types of artwork, things that you might have seen before. So enjoy looking around and finding some really cool work. But as always, if you guys have any questions, please let me know on Schoology, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.